I do have 6 o'clock. Miss Amy and I were going over a few pieces here, getting ready for the next couple of nights and a few things to try to bring to us. I will call this meeting, Finance Committee meeting, for budget hearing together. We are looking at Tuesday, May 13th. I will ask you, for all sake, if you, are given the floor, please make sure you hit your mic. I'll try to help you up here by doing that, but just make sure you talk into the mic. Okay? It does help heavily going through the budget. At this time, though, we will call together. If you will turn, we're in the 101, you're on page 19. You're looking at first your county commission. Page 19, top of the page. Commissioner Gregory.
Yes, 191, I'd like to see us eliminate that 3.3 increase, and just stay where we are currently. Also would like to maybe reduce that line item from 60 to 45. And the line item underneath that, maybe reduce that from 25 to 20.
I would, understanding that there may be some subcommittees coming in the future, with the jail project coming out, might encourage you not to change that 25. Don't know where those will come out of, but I would assume that there'll be a couple of subcommittees with that project coming.
Well, we've been talking about that jail for so long. I'm going on the assumption that we might probably just keep talking about it for the next year, but who knows? I mean, if everybody wants to leave that one at 25, I'm fine with that.
Commissioner Gregory.
We voted that, every time the county officials got a raise that we'd get one on that, but I'm fine. But I mean, I don't know if we'd have to go rescind that. I mean, that was voted on several years ago, but where we'd get the raise every time the county officials got one or something of that nature.
I think it stays at the same rate the mayor increase is what was voted on. Mhm.
But I would think our recommendation could be, hey, we are choosing to forego that. Now, if the whole body feels differently, obviously they can make that change when the time comes.
100%, we present a budget with favorable, non-favorable. They can move at the difference if they wish at that point in time. That's correct. Any discussion further in county commission? Do I hear a motion in any like? Mr. Gregory, Chris?
Move to approve with reducing that first line from 60 to 45 and foregoing the 3.3 increase.
Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? I have a second from Commissioner Dennis. Any discussion further? That was line item 191. Moving the 60,000 to 45,000. Eliminating the 3.3% increase. That will adjust a few more lines, I think, through there a little bit, but not much. Social Security will become what?
You want me to go ahead and make those changes?
I guess so. Let's, well, we had a second, as well, so yes. Line item 201, Social Security will become
201 will be 4340.
4340.
12 will be 1015.
212 will be $1,015.
Total commission 91,500.
Total 91,505.
And the difference is 24,380.
A difference of decrease of 24,380. Is everyone clear? All right, I do have a motion by Commissioner Chris Gregory, a second by Mr. Will Dennis, with the approved changes there. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. We are moving next to top of page 20, County Mayor. Unfortunately, I don't think we can choose to change the mayor's salary. I don't know that that's not statute. I could be incorrect, but I'm quite sure that's statute. I was just easing along. Um, any questions looking out there or, from my understanding with this, with no increase, so as you see, the 87,305 for clerical personnel to the 88,300 and the administrative officer, I think that is supposed to show on the administrative officer 66,630. Change line item 103 to 66,630. That's not a movement, it was just a number that didn't transfer correctly. The other clerical personnel should be 87,305. The clerical personnel should be 87,305. Line item 162. That is beginning with no increases is what I'm getting at. Commissioner Gregory?
Line item 169, part-time personnel, 18,000 budget this year, wrong projected spend 600. Is that a open position or what? Okay. And I guess the same thing with the overtime pay.
I think overtime pay is for those administrative officers and for the clerical personnel is the ones that can receive that. You have two full-time and then there is currently a part-time available or could be, looks like it's not filled. It might could be done away with. It doesn't appear to be needed. Cuts are sometimes tough, but sometimes needed. Currently has not been using. It is not filled this year. It's currently not filled. It's always nice to have people available, but if sometimes there might be the right cuts that are needed. I don't know. They've done without it for a year. Maybe one more can work too. You can leave the position and not fund it.
What are the duties of this part-time position if it were filled?
Miss Amy?
So if I can ever find the time to actually accept applications for this position, I would love it for it to be the actual assistant to the mayor, working his calendar, taking the phone calls, really taking a load off my desk to be very pointed about that, and to help out with filing around the office, just doing the basic office tasks that is needed. Quite honestly, and this may sound like whining, and I don't care, I'm overloaded right now. So yes, that position's available, just haven't posted and haven't had the time to try to get it filled at this point.
She stated, Mr. Ford, to hear this, she stated that currently it's not filled. She felt that it was needed for mayor's assistant running his calendar, answering phone calls for the mayor, those directions to the mayor, as well as some filing, I believe is what I understood. Could those duties be done with clerical personnel? We have 2 clerical personnel already. I just wonder if those duties could fall in their hands. It's gonna be a tough budget all the way through, y'all. We have tough decisions to make. I 100% understand that there are tough pieces and tough situations.
Yeah,
I greatly appreciate the job Miss Amy's able to do for us already, but I do wonder if maybe those clerical personnel could take on some of that load for her.
I agree with the chair. I don't think anyone in here questions the job Amy does, and she does a wonderful job, but I have to agree. I think maybe some of those clerical personnel maybe could take on some of those duties, and in a year where we're already having to make hard choices, I think we look for savings anywhere we can. And if that means not funding that position for a year, I'm okay with that.
Nothing has been done at this time. Any further discussion looking at the mayor's 51, 300 mayor executive offices?
About 317.
317 data processing. I think that's one of those you better leave alone.
No, that's not,
Oh.
I'm looking at consultants.
Consultants, 308.
We spent 75 last year and 30,000 this year, coming year.
I think it was budgeted at 50 and we spent 7,500 and this year's budgeted at 30. I think that was consultant grant writers that we were using. We had, I think 2 years ago, mulled around the conversation of hiring a grant writer. And then it was decided that it was probably best, since there were so many different types of grants, to pay certain individuals that are more inclined to a certain area. For example, if we're dealing with a park grant, use this person. If we're needing to deal with a construction grant of some sort, use this person. So I think that's been what that consultant grant writers has been there
Do you
for.
think we need that much there?
I think it's always good to have it in the event that it's not gonna get spent unless we put it in the right place. And I think as we stated last night, where it's at, if we keep our eyes on it, last year's fund balance, as we were looking at, was looking at somewhere around 1.2 million, and it's gonna come in about 3 million. Those are those dollars that didn't get spent. I care not if you wish to lower it. It's lowered 20,000 from last year's already. But I do think that is an item that would be, can be used discretionally if we don't have any. There's never a bad idea to have an opportunity to seek grants. Commissioner Gregory?
Line item 317, the data processing services, 47 in there, the 4 items listed in the notes only add up to 41.5.
Commissioner Gregory, if you'll hang on, let this.
We good, Mr. Chair?
We are good.
Okay. What's it, line item 317, 47,000 in the budget. In the notes, there are 4 items listed that add up to 41,500. So I'm just trying to see where the other 5,500 is for.
I didn't list everything that's in there. There's some little tiny pieces that are probably just left out. But I did list the big items that are in there.
Does it was 47 this year. Do we want to move it to 50 was kind of actually what I had looked at to make sure we don't need to do budget amendments for that one. I've never, in the time I've been here, I've not seen data processing increase. I wouldn't make a suggestion. We move that line item to 50,000. Any discussion, mayor's budget? Further, Mr. Gregory?
That part-time personnel, I was looking over it and the trustees asking for part-time help too. I just wonder if we could combine that one part-time, I mean, what she's wanting and what they want and make it a part-time, it could sort of fill in for both positions there. I mean, that's before we get, I mean, I looked over in the trustees, she's asking for part-time too. Something we might consider.
All right. That's an interesting question. Miss Amy, you know that office, or do you care to weigh in or not weigh?
I can talk with Ms. Cindy tomorrow and see what we can work out.
It was, if we heard that statement, she said she'd be willing to talk to Miss Cindy. I looked at, I don't guess trustee, was, looking at it tonight, might be something that could be worked out.
She's asking for part-time in hers for
Solid.
15,000. If you could just do a part-time and combine them, let them sort of work both positions and still pay that 16 or 18. I mean, might be a pretty good.
I saw exactly what you're talking about. Is that, are you looking to move the 169 at this point? Or are you looking to keep the 169 at this point in the mayor's budget? Or see if we can possibly use that part-time personnel for both? The one thing that there's times when those are needed, but when they're not, there's somebody sitting there making money doing nothing, and that is tough.
Isn't the property assessor asking for a part-time position as well?
It's in there as well.
I
Could
would
we
say-
not hire somebody that could be trained in all departments to fill?
I think we will hold for that conversation about property assessor at a later time. I do think it's a bit of a different conversation than the two that we're talking about here. The trustee's asking for one, and she's mentioned that there are months when it is quite busy and needed. There are months where she stated, that's why I need it part-time, because I need it this time of year, not this time of year. October, November starts to get a little busy with 2% stuff coming in, and then February gets really busy. So those months right through there, it's heavy. And there is need. She's mentioned that past that, there are times where it's not as needed. So I think that's why we mentioned the throwing around of the thought, is it possible for the two to work together and get an individual that can part-time between both? I think that's a very strong conversation. I think the other one is a totally different conversation. We'll let it be explained. I was asking that we change data processing to 50, go on and make that 50. We'll probably still get a budget amendment on it, but we'll move it for now.
Do we want to wait on this one until Amy has a chance to talk to?
I'd
Ms.
like to
Cindy?
move on with it tonight, y'all. The more we wait, the more we're gonna keep moving. I think, to me, I think that's our best bet, to see if we can use those two together. Personally, it hasn't been used this year. If we can make one of them work, I think that's a good move for us, and we can hear from the trustee at a later date. That's totally up to y'all here. You are correct. She's not here tonight. I can't address her tonight. It would be my opinion, it's best served for the county not to hire two.
Okay, well, I'll move to approve with eliminating the part-time from the mayor's budget, with the understanding that we're gonna talk to Ms. Cindy about combining those and doing your increase to 50 on the data processing.
Did everyone correct line item 103, 66,600, and line item 162 to 87,305?
Oh, yes, yeah, those were my motions.
Those were just clerical, is all those were. Is everyone clear with the motion? We are erasing the part-time personnel line item to 0. The consultants, data processing, I apologize, to 50,000. Consultants were left at 30,000. Everyone clear on where we are? I do have a motion. Do I hear a second? I have a motion by Chris Gregory and a second by Mr. Ford. Miss Amy, do you mind giving, that's gonna change a couple of others as well. 201, which is Social Security. 16,509. State retirement.
No change, it's at 63 cents.
No, that's gonna change. State retirement should be 16,376. Yeah. Medical,
Insurance should be the same, 15,276.
15,276 stays correct.
Well, 3,000.
Employee Medicare 212, 3,861. Bringing that bottom total to $4,420,403. 212 line is 3,861.
Just a thought, if I may. If we're gonna split the position, shouldn't half of it be on this budget and half of it be for the trustees?
Which way it makes it easier? It comes out of 101.
Sunday, so it would probably just be a budget amendment later in.
It comes out of 101 on that piece. And it may be have to fund it here, fund it there, but I think that's and it's a fair conversation. Do you want to ask if we amend that to say that? All right. The request was that we would amend our original motion to strike the 162 and make that 9,000 instead of 18,000 and go on and plan to share the one part-time between the trustee and the mayors. Sorry, 169. Line items get together. Motion says he's okay. Second, were you okay with that movement? It will save a budget amendment later. What it pretty much says is we've already planned to do that though at this point. That's pretty much what that's stating. Say again. Well, that is gonna make us, and that's kind of what I was thinking, but. All right, so new numbers again, for those line items starting at 201. $17,067. 204. $16,930. 207 should stay the same. 212. $3,992. And bringing that new total at the bottom a little higher. Wait a minute. 430. 430. 645, $645. $430,645. Is everybody clear? What is that difference in now? $19,343. A little over $10,000. I had a motion and a second agreed to that. Those changes, is everyone any more discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. Sorry, County Mayor, we're looking at election, page 21. It is. That's correct. Yeah, I had that in email. If you will, we're gonna move the election commission to later tonight. He will be coming in after their meeting. It will be sometime tonight, though. So we will move to 22. Page 22, Register of Deeds Office. The increase is the state increase for an elected official is what you mainly see through the entirety of this budget change. Um, Commissioner Gregory,
Furniture and fixtures says proposed 5,000. She get new furniture and fixtures for that. I mean,
looks like those were purchased in 23, 24. If I'm looking at that correctly, $4,570. 5,000 is sitting there for another plaque cabinet if needed. It was not spent last year.
Motion to
Commissioner
approve.
Overman, Commissioner Overman with a motion to approve the budget as written. Mr. Ford with a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. Continuing along, we are moving to page 23, Planning Office. Yes, sir, we are. So that would be, we're talking about, I think the certification, it says pending final certifications. It is my understanding at current, there is no additional clerical staff. Is that correct? It is one employee. There is no additional staff at this time, correct? At this time, there's no additional staff. Is it? That position is available, but not there. Oh, she said she made an offer.
Well, did they accept?
All I was saying is it's not there at this time, is all I'm saying.
Is it something she intends to fill?
Yes. Mr. Gregory. Chris Gregory, sorry.
No problem. 191, we've got 8,000 in there. We almost, no. 2 years ago, I only spent 2610. I'm only anticipating 3,500 this year. I'd maybe like to bring that down, to, I think we could maybe even half that to 4,000, unless, you know. And only other question I had on this one was the 7-Eleven, 6,000 for a conference table with chairs and desks. Where would that be going? There's not a lot of room in that office
Can we
right
back
now.
up just a second? 191, you asked to remove that to 5,000. Did I hear that correctly? 4,000. And then you ask for conference table, which is furniture fixtures. Where is the conference table and new chairs going? The expansion office. Commissioner Gregory?
I was looking at the overtime. If she hires this additional help, if she has to come in at night, can she take off early during the day and let her office people handle that instead of getting overtime? I mean.
I think that sounds like a very strong
I mean,
suggestion.
cut that down to 10,000 there, maybe. If you
Oh.
don't have help, I mean, maybe she could take off, and if she's gonna spend 2 hours in a meeting at night, maybe take off 2 hours early in the afternoon, she's gonna have help in the office that afternoon.
I think the director position is an hourly position. I think that's one thing
Yes.
you are seeing. It's an hourly position, not a salary position.
Is that something that we would consider maybe, I think last year we made, was last year or 2 years ago that we made Miss Amy a salaried position to eliminate overtime. Is that something we maybe move some of that overtime into that director line and make it a salary position.
I think you can make it a salary position as it is at that number if you wish to. We can make that suggestion. Can we make it? No. Can we make that suggestion and send it forward? Yes. Is that something you're interested in looking at, Commissioner Gregory? Commissioner Gregory, making the director of, official in this a salary position. I'm sorry?
I feel like we ought to maybe move some of that overtime line item into there. Probably not the entire 15, but I'm certainly open to whatever suggestions the rest of the committee has in that regard.
Commissioner Dennis?
Mr. Chairman, and I may not be looking at this accurate. The estimated cost of that position, if I'm taking the director's estimated there at 23,269, and the overtime that was paid of 22,26, that number is 43,495.
Yes, sir.
And if we're gonna make it a salary position and we're not talking about increasing raises or rates of pay or things of that nature, 43,495.
I would say that I think the difference here is the certifications weren't there and we were actually paying an outside individual to certify in that as well.
Okay.
I was not that line item until
Well,
January.
January as well.
That's why it's so low. So she was paid out of the clerical staff until she was moved to that line item in January.
I was gonna mention, I think there's also 19,000 in that as well.
Yeah, the current year's budget, the director position is funded at 61,000. I would be okay with leaving that 61,000 and whatever adjustment we needed to make in the overtime accordingly.
Are you putting that in the form of a motion? With a suggestion for overtime? My suggestion for overtime is if we get a part-time personnel, here's just a thought. Ms. Mahan has done a great job running that without an additional personnel. It would appear to me that that means there shouldn't be overtime technically in this office at all. It's been manned by one individual for a little over a year.
Yeah, I will move to approve with making the director official line item 61. Lowering the overtime to 5,000. That gives us a little bit of leeway. Then they're just, we don't think we'll need it. And changing the 191 to 4,000.
I've got it right here for you.
I'll second that.
Salary to 61,000 at a salary position. Lowering overtime to 5,000. Yep. Second by Commissioner Gregory, I believe. Motion by Chris Gregory, second by Bubba Gregory. Any further discussion? $30,000 in consultants. Move from 5,500 to 30,000. It was moved from where? Other contracted services, line 399. If you'll look, it moved up. Who is that? A. Harrington? Is that our,
Miss Mahan's right there, if you'd like to have her come to the podium.
Who is A Harrington?
Amanda Harrington is our new planning consultant. We no longer have GNRC as our planning consultant for the county.
When did we move away from GNRC?
Their contract ended April 30th, and Amanda Harrington was hired as our planning consultant
By who?
by the mayor.
What was our cost with GNRC? I understand that that cost was right at 32,000. So we have moved to Amanda Harrington being hired. The other is Rick Gregory, who has been working for a bit of time there. Amanda Harrington. Past that, I can't tell you anything other than a name. The mayor has hired her as a consultant for planning commission. Who gave the recommendation for her?
Basically, I learned of her through the Dixon County. She is the consultant for Dixon County, Robertson County, Harris County, several other counties. And since we were looking at other planning resources, we had several others that had come forward and they interviewed, and Amanda was selected.
Was this an agreed upon dollar by her already? Was this figure of 28,000 agreed upon by her already?
Yes.
No, 5,000 didn't move to it. It was 42,000, 35,000 last year. It moved 30, it moved up. That money moved up. We had to actually do a budget amendment for, what's that? Don't make me do too much math tonight. 60, it's a little over $6,000, for that one. Was a budget amendment at some point in time. So in other words, the consultants moved up. GNRC was being paid out of, which was a little over. Are there any other contracted services? I see what you're asking now. Are there any other contracted services? Line item 399, are there any other contracted services?
Not to my knowledge.
Mr. Ford, are you asking that, we had a motion and a second already. Are you asking the motion and second to remove the 5,000? Is that okay with you, Mr. Grigger? You were first motion? I think the actual plea goes back to second and then to first, but I'll. Commissioner Gregory and both Commissioner Gregory's, which were Chris Gregory had the motion and Bubba Gregory had the amendment or had the second, have agreed that we will move 399 to 0.
Do you mind to tell me what we've changed in the numbers? on
You
this,
ready to
please?
go? All right. And I was going to clear that up before we do it, before we vote. I always will try to do that. 105, move to a salary position at $61,000. Line item 187, which is overtime pay, to $5,000. Board and committee member fees, BZA fees, $4,000. Miss Amy, I'll let you bring in the next numbers. Line item 201. $6,716, $6,716. Line item 204. 6,416. Interesting is the reason I questioned the same number. Medical should not change. Do we know if the new employee is planning to take medical?
I do not know yet.
Thank you. Employer Medicaid. $1,571. I would, looking ahead along the way, just want to make sure we're clear. The 38,320 seems to be roughly the same number we're paying other personnel in like positions. So is everybody, no, the 38,000, line item 162 clerical staff, the 38,320 is what we're paying most other positions. There's a couple asked to move to that tonight. And they would be pretty heavy increases, but we're getting there soon. I just ask that you look at the fact that we're hiring a new person and we're offering them this amount. There may be some people that have worked with us for a while and they're not making that amount now is all I'm bringing to the table. Currently, you have finance officer, which is your deputies, and finance officer is making 35,850. That's on page 25, middle of the page or bottom of the page. That has been asked tonight, which is a 7.7% increase to 38,320. I'm on bottom of page 25. Finance officers. I'm not going to put a name with it, but I think we know the individuals that are in these positions. They've been in those positions for quite a while, would be my opinion. I'm just asking that we be clear here. If we're going to start one at that's not been with us before, or I don't know who this person is, don't care. I just ask that we treat all our employees fairly.
Rosalie, what kind of price range did you give them if you hired them? Did you give them this price here that we've got in our budget, or do they know what they're gonna be making? You said you've made them higher, or?
Did I give them this exact salary number? I gave them what I was told that the starting pay would be. $16 an hour.
Okay. We figured it here at 33,280 at that.
That's what I'm getting.
I think we need to do that instead of moving them up where somebody's already been there several years, start them out a little bit low.
For wiggle room, we were asked if we put it at 35 in case there's any room there. I'm fine either way here. I just want to make sure that if we're going to go through this budget and we're looking at these pieces, that we're clear that those are equal. I don't know that they're equal employees. I'm not saying that by any means. I'm just stating that we have some that have been with us quite a while. That's what I was making sure we were stating here. That's all I was making sure of.
Can we amend the motion to move that salary to 35,000?
Would y'all be, Commissioner Gregory said he'd be okay with moving that line item, which is line item, that's gonna change some more numbers again. Line item 162, clerical staff to 35,000. It gives a little wiggle room on a job that's actually already not, it's at 16 an hour. Commissioner Dennis?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question, taking the, the 191.
Line 190, one
Yes,
board of,
sir.
board of and committee fees to 4,000?
Right. Am I reading that right? There's 7 members in the BZA and there's 12 members in the planning commission. And both of those have 12 meetings a year at $50 apiece. And if that's the case, this is not funded enough at all, even at 8,000.
Correct.
They don't meet every month. Then if that's the case, then they're out of money. BZA 7 members times 12 meetings times $50 a meeting is $4,200
For that one free
for,
set.
for that, for BZA. And then planning commission is 7,200. We can move it to 4, but we're gonna have to move it back up.
100% agreed.
Okay, I'm gonna withdraw my original motion so we can restate it and get it where we want to be without having to.
Commissioner Grigg, will you withdraw your second?
Yeah.
Okay, then you were gonna withdraw your motion?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna start back over here, it looks like. Miss Amy says, thank you all. I'll keep riding.
I need some white out.
I did too.
It is the first of these that we're going through, so it's, maybe they'll get cleaner. What I have now is that we're leaving the line item 191 at 8,000. Did I understand that correctly?
I have to, the 11,400 is what those two numbers come to.
Who we're adding this year?
It comes before the commission and it shows to add two. Have to go back and look, but
Yeah,
might be something you want to reduce, but not tonight. That's not a tonight reduction. I don't disagree with looking at little pieces, but those are small pennies that we're talking about in this budget. I don't think they're worth kicking cans over too far. I agree 100%, or we're looking at a budget amendment. If you wish.
Yeah, but all the members don't show up at every meeting. All them members don't show up at every meeting.
Let's hope it sets at 8,000. Let's see where it goes. Sounds good. So if I clear this back up and we're gonna start back over with some numbers here. All right, Miss Amy, I'll start here at line item 105 is what we have at 61,000. We're starting back over at that right now. At a salary position. Line 162 is moved to 35,000. Line 187 overtime is at 5,000. BZA line item board and committee 191 is 8,000. Miss Amy, can you give me some numbers again in 201? 6,758. 204. 6,212. Line item 308, I believe. No. Medical employee 212. $1,581. Bringing our total, sorry. 5,000 was removed from other contracted services, line item 399. Bringing our total. 205,516. Bringing that difference. 24,907.
Move to approve with those changes.
I have a move to approve with those changes from Commissioner. This was withdrawn. Let me back that up. Try to make a few notes here. Commissioner Gregory, Chris Gregory with a move to approve with those changes, and Overman with the second. Do I hear any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. Thank you, Ms. Mahan. Ms. Mahan, I try not to put you on stage too much there in this case. I know it's new to position to you, and we appreciate you trying to work into the places there. Property assessor, bottom of page 25. If I'm looking at this correctly. Bottom of page 25. One increase is the elected official increase. The other is a requested increase for the deputy in this case. There is also a part-time employee request. He is not here to defend that conversation. You may.
So Mr. Potts has asked our VSO, a current employee, Ben Fiog, to work 8 hours a week. So he will be able to drive the county vehicle and do some assessments for Mr. Potts. So it's not really a hiring of a new employee. It's using an existing employee and giving him a few more hours in the week. He would still be staying under the 30-hour part-time limit, so he would not become a full-time and have benefits. But that is what Mr. Potts has requested as far as a part-time employee.
Is Mr. Fiat qualified to do property assessments?
You have property assessor's office in front of you. If you're looking for that percent change, that's 7.7%, I believe. Check my math on me there. I think it was a step raise change, though. It was if I understood that correctly, is that right? Yeah, grade, that's the word. I used the wrong word. It was a grade change in the employee, what was the I can't not come up with a term right now. It's our payment process system. It's the same system. It's looking at a chart in front of you, and instead of just moving a raise percent, it moved a grade. That's what that is. It does equivalent to a 7.7%. I'm not sure what they're doing to the courthouse, but that is a ladder, I believe. Yeah. I think we have a piece in front of us. To me, the part-time employee has not been there yet. It is a tough year to say that we're adding employees to our budget, in my opinion. Not saying it's not needed, just saying it's a tough year to add employee fees.
I agree. I'd prefer to see us remove that one, and no question that the deputy is worth the raise, but 7.75 is a big number when we're gonna be looking at other pieces down the road.
Commissioner Dennis, was my math pretty close? Okay. I just want to make, I did that, like I said, at the breakfast table the other morning, so make sure I wasn't still asleep. It is in your hands to discuss. And I know this as we're talking about it, I realize 100%, and I hope our public realizes that we realize this well. We are talking about people, individuals here in this situation, but we are talking about a county that we have to represent as well, and the best we can. It is not personal in any way, form, or fashion ever. It is not easy either. Commissioner Grigger?
If we did, theoretically, if that deputy became a step as opposed to a grade, what would that number look like?
If it was a step, which would be the 2 is that 2.4? Is that what the steps, 2.5 on the step would make that 36,470. Reminding you that the original budget that is presented minus a few little spots here, there are some adjustments the same way in the sheriff's department as well before. There are no raises, no increases across the line in this. Planning and zoning. It was last night. That was last night. That meeting was Monday, is on Monday nights.
I'll make a motion that we do that step increase to 36,470 and do away with a part-time employee on this one.
Have a motion to remove the part-time employee position and move one step for the deputy, making that line read 36,470. Have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second? I have a second by Mr. Ford. Do I hear any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, before we vote, I'll get Miss Amy to run us through those numbers. 191 again. I'm sorry, 201, that's correct.
7,764.
201 will be $7,764. 204,
7,702.
$7,702. Employee Medicare 212. 1,816. I believe that's all correct. What would bring the bottom line? 178, 937. A difference of 4,592. Yeah, that would still be a positive increase, not a negative. I had a motion and a second. No more of the discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. The Medicare, the Medicaid insurance, $1,816. Bottom line, did you get it? Okay. Sorry, I'll try to slow down there. Sometimes I talk too fast, I know. Moving from property assessor, county trustee. That is the next page. I would mention here in the same movement had been requested as we just looked at before. All I ask is that we certainly look at employees in somewhat equal pieces. I don't know that this employee has been with us as long as the other, but I think pretty good. I was about to say a pretty good while. I think we would certainly be benefited to treat them the same. Also mentioned that earlier we moved the mayor's budget to 9,000 on that part-time employee to try to share Just making sure that's still what we want to do.
Yeah, I will move to approve this with changing the deputy from the graded step like we did with the previous one and
36.
what change do we need to make on the part-time? Did having this total also? Would that be,
I think that would make the one employee, yes.
okay, that's my motion then, to make the deputy the step and half the part-time personnel.
Step would be line item 106 to 36,470, I believe, because those are the same number. And moving the part-time personnel to a $8,000, my apologies. That's half of 16. Splitting between the mayor. Miss Amy? Social Security 201? All right. You're good. I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
$8,282.
8,282. Social Security 201, $8,282. 204, $8,215. And 212, $1,937. Before you go to the next step, is that computer, and she's not here, do you know if that computer is for her office or for the part-time that we were adding to that position? For her office, okay.
This whole transfer from Windows 10 to Windows 11 is making this by computer.
Same at the school. Medicare figures 1,937. Bringing that bottom total to 192,625 with a difference.
16,487.
Increase of $16,487. So stayed the same. Yes, sir, 207 will stay the same. That's our employees' insurance piece. It's not gonna, unless one of them doesn't take it, it's not gonna change. Part-time are not eligible for, so that won't change. I heard a motion from, I had a motion from Mr. Commissioner Gregory. Did I hear a second? Motion for Chris Gregory, second by Mr. Ford. Is everybody clear where we are? Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, let me know by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. All right. Moving us forward. County clerk, page, top of page 27. Pretty much a status quo budget with the increase, required increase of state, change to the elected position. Motion to approve, Commissioner Gregory. Commissioner Ford with a second. Do I hear any discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. You sure may. Can you come up to the podium though for me? I think it is green.
Feel like I wouldn't be doing my girls right if I didn't say something. If you get to the end of this and you find that you can do an increase, I would love to see them get a cost of living increase.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
statement. I actually was, had almost felt and was fixing to do, but when you spoke, I was fixing to make a similar statement to reminder to all that are listening to this. We're going through it with a status quo, no change budget at this time, and are going to look at those pieces at an end time.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
We did veteran services last night. We will move to the top of page 28, Circuit Court. I will state, as I've gone through this a little bit, the one I wondered why we might want to move is the 349. It seems that's ran higher the last 2 years than what we've budgeted for it. Suggest 7,500 on that line item. That is line item 349. Notices of injury of jury on printed forms, blah, 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 blah. We'll get our tongue untied later. Commissioner Gregory?
Yeah, I'm fine with the one you said, and 317, I noticed 15,000, and but we've got 95. Would we maybe make that 12 and move that move that difference into the 349?
If you wish to do so. Yes, ma'am. The software though has come at 95,880. Okay. You're saying the 15,000 can't be reduced? You need it in your budget. It's part of their reserves is what I hear them saying. Gotcha. Thank you for that clarification. Any other discussion? If not, do I hear a motion? Mr. Dennis?
Make a motion to approve with the change from 5,000 to 7,500 on your printing and stationery forms.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? Commissioner Bubba Gregory. Any discussion further? Let's get clarity on that. What's that bring that bottom number? 243,914. And that would make that a increase of $5,803. Everyone clear? Any discussion further? If not, all those in favor, let me know by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. I believe we go to the bottom of the page now. General Sessions Court. think the only thing I had put, it says 2.9 COLA. Is that a mandatory raise? That's what I thought as well. Just making sure we were all clear on that.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve and a second. A motion by Bubba Gregory, second by Chris Gregory. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, let me know by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. Next page, top, we will be doing both on this page as well, Chancery Court. I believe this is roughly a status quo with the change of salaries that are state required, I believe. I more than believe they are state required. We don't get to make that choice. We get to find out where to bring the money. Have a motion by Ms. Overman. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Ford to approve the budget. Any discussion further? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. Very much the same in the next judicial commissioners, except there is a little raise, I believe, to the contracted service line for David Brown and Lisa Scruggs. I assume that is a change of step or it was a requested increase per Judge Level.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve and second by Ms. Overman. Any discussion further? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. It is favorable.
Mr. Chairman, can we take like a 10-minute?
We certainly can. I'm glad you were thinking the same as I. I just looked at my watch just a second ago. I was like, golly, we've been here an hour and 15 minutes. Let's take a 5-minute recess. We will come back to order. Appreciate the break timing. That was perfect timing, Commissioner Gregory, for a break. Back appreciates it and so does the bladder. Moving forward, let's roll on here. We are moving from, general session, let's see, chanceries, what we just completed, and judicial commissioners, my apologies. Juvenile services, it would be moving to page 35, bottom of the page on 35. Bottom of page 35, juvenile services, it is a status quo zero change. Motion by Commissioner Gregory. Bubba Gregory, and second by Mr. Dennis. I'll let him get in now. Any discussion further? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. All right. Local Health Department, I believe we tried to look at that one last night. Is that the same one? Hey, all right, good. That one got out of hand. Page 39, Local Health Department, I believe that's other is, there we go. Local Health Department is a status quo budget, public health and welfare. Motion by Ms. Overman to approve. Second by Commissioner Chris Gregory. Any discussion? We're on page 39. No discussion needed. With that stated, all those in favor, let me know by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. Moving right along, look there, it's getting a lot quicker. Litter program, page 41.
Mr. Chairman, one question, this one, 499, why is that number so much high, so much over in the current year?
Amount adjusted to make functional total 44,200. Is this one that can't go below what it was? There you go.
Gotcha.
I kind of thought that's where this one's set. It stays at that number.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. I do have a question before we finish further. What changed in the guard side of things? How did that money decrease?
So it used to be a third was shared with the workhouse. It was moved to a fourth is now shared with the workhouse so they could have more for their supplies and materials.
So there would be more for supplies and materials in this budget. Okay. Everybody understand that piece? It went from a third shared with workhouse to a fourth shared with workhouse. Is everybody clear? That was my only, I wanted to make sure I had notes for why.
So if there were any changes to salaries at a later date, that 499 would
Yep.
adjust to make that line, to make this function 44.
Is everybody hearing that part? Okay, this number will stay 44,200. That's kind of the movements here. But so was the guard moved down for a reason?
Said if, because this was first billed 10% increase. So I moved it from a third shared with workhouse to a fourth shared.
So what I wanted to make sure we were got in there, and I'm sorry, I was questioning around the way I was, but I'm not trying. I just want to be clear. Does everybody hear that part? The budget had a 10% increase in the sheriff's originally in the budget. It is not in this budget. What you see as increase in this budget are step changes or grade changes. what's presented to us here is, I won't call it status quo, but status quo in lines of those. So that had to be adjusted to get to the 40. I want to be clear. We got to stay at that 44,200 in this budget. The other money's gonna come from somewhere. Is everybody clear? I believe, did I have a motion? Motion and a second, I believe. I was talking and thinking. Ms. Overman with the motion, second with Chris Gregory, I believe. Backwards. Wrote them backwards. Chris Gregory with the motion, Overman with the second. She said, I'll take the second seat on that one. Any discussion further? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. It's grant money. We better leave it alone in some way. Senior Center, page 42. And Miss Jenny is here, I believe, willing to speak. We won't call her to the mic, she says, unless we need her. Gotcha. My question, that I have first, it shows an increase, a pretty substantial increase. What is that assistance increase? One full-time, one part-time? Are we adding a position? Did we add a position?
I believe hours were adjusted.
Hours were adjusted.
Previous budget. Is that correct? That's true.
So last year, we added an employee because we were at 17,000 in this spot. So we added an employee and hired that spot, and now they're full-time, both employees. Correct, but they're here in field. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Is everyone clear? No increase to pay. So it does have a step increase in it. That would be a 2.5% step increase for all across.
Motion to approve.
I might mention we have not done that in the others, just to make sure we're in the same plan here. I don't care, I just. Miss Amy believes this is not an increase.
This is an hour change on this particular. It's an hour
Just
change.
motion stands for Miss Overman. I just want to be clear. Motion by Miss Overman, second by Chris Gregory. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. We will get clarification to make sure that whether that had a step or didn't have a step. Bottom of the page here, senior citizen assistant, this is under grant. Do have a question myself. This is more of a, I should know, but don't know. Where are these reserve funds built from? So the reserves are donations and fundraisings. It doesn't look like a carryover. They are different pieces. One of those is up 1,000 and one of those is other supplies and materials is down, what's that, 2,700. So net change of 1,700, I believe, if I did that correctly in my head, pretty.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Overman to approve. I have a second by Mr. Bubba Gregory. Sorry, Mr. Ford. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nope. All right. Moving from senior center to library. Hey, we're getting close. I should have certainly put UT at the beginning since they've been here forever, some of these. Thank y'all for sticking around. 513 here on the 13th, it's 56,500 libraries. It is a status quo with, I lied to you there. Library books and media, I believe, was one of the major changes in this one. It is pretty much a status quo for your library. Commissioner Gregory with, Chris Gregory with a motion to approve. Second by Ms. Overman. Any discussion further? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is favorable. Thank you, Ms. Lee. Oh, we have two more. That meeting must have been long tonight. Hey, they're still downstairs meeting. If I'm looking correctly, we are moving to UT, which is page 45, top of page 45, agricultural. Mr. Evans is here. I think I can speak for parts of this. If he wants to speak on others, if y'all have questions for him, you certainly can. An employee, you will see the major increase of this is an employee that was hired. There was a bit of time there last year where that employee was not there. Yes, it is, it was budgeted at 38,181. The new employee has much different degrees and time spent on job. I can say this, she is our 4-H agent that works through our school and is doing an outstanding job with our youth. Has been a breath of fresh air, not saying anyone we've had in the past, but she's with us and working hard with our kids. And I think it has took a little load off of Mr. Evans. She's doing a really good job. If you haven't met with her, she's truly working hard for our kids. I can say that very much. And our 4-H, if you've noticed, has had a pretty strong uptick in its movements and what events we're attending in our enrollment of students participating. It's been a strong increase. She's certainly doing a great job with the job. Commissioner Gregory?
My only question on this one is the 316, 3,000 contribution to the county fair. We did a $8,000 contribution to the fair on the nonprofits last night. So we have a second donation to the fair.
We do. You're welcome to speak on it if you want to. I'll turn to public.
Yes, and that 3,000 has been in that line item for as long as I've been in here, and it's been in the extension line item from when extension ran the fair. And so I'd ask in multiple years, in past years, does the fair need a line item? You know, do they need their own line item for contributions? And so that's why that 3,000 stays in our budget. Is 3,000 no longer covers the premium. Hence, when the fair went to Mr. McCall last year and asked for an increase in the contribution that the county made to help cover our premiums. That the 3,000, when it was originally just the youth fair, that's where the 3,000 figure come from, was to cover the premiums for the fair. And so that was the reason for the increase. As the fair grows, more categories, more entries, then you gotta have more contribution to cover the cost of just the fair if every project was entered and you had to pay every one of them out.
I got you.
I was just curious that we had two line items and two parts of the budget going to the same place. So thank you for the explanation.
Do I have any more discussion on agricultural? As stated, this is not a pay increase. This is a different employee. I want to make sure we're clear there. Motion by Commissioner Bubba Gregory to approve. Second by Mr. Will Dennis. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. It is approved. Thank you, Mr. Evans. Go ahead.
And I would like to thank you all. And also you'll see some changes that look quite a bit different. I had quite a bit of trouble putting our budget together. UT, their system that we use for our financial management. And so putting this budget together was much different. Also, because the county only pays a percentage of our salaries. That means they only pay a percentage of our benefits. Well, the system that they changed also changed how it calculates that stuff. So it saved the county some money over what that figure would have been because the new employee was on county insurance. And so the reason that you could go back and look at our previous budget, you could see some of those line items, and Miss Thomas was able to help us. She said, hey, we can group those all under benefits. Before that was all broke out and we could look at it line item by line item. I don't even know if the university could give me those figures if they wanted to, based on the new system we went to. And so I just wanted to comment on that it was difficult on my part to put it together. And I made an omission from it, but I'm going to live with it because I missed something when I was putting it together. It's already, the university said, hey, my budget's good if you guys approve it. So that we're going to make it this year. So thank you.
Appreciate it, sir. You sure may.
Please note what he just said on benefits that apparently changed this month. So I'm having a budget amendment this month to show that. Remember that statement for Monday.
Yeah, so, that county billing, like you'll see, because you've seen it on, when we got the quarterly billing, and they tell all of us to check it. I don't have anything to check it against because I only had this employee started in January, only on this quarter. I can't even come up with figures to go back and check it against because it's really like, and so our regional admin, our regional financial folks, it's a mess trying to sort it out. And so, and I'm sure there you will see probably a big difference on different line items on that county billing. Cause I looked at it, but I was like, okay, the percentages worked out to what they tell me it was. That's the best I could do. So. Yeah.
It always seems to be a bit of fun working with something new. There's little hiccups to learn about along the
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will move on and do election commission. I'm not gonna leave it off tonight. Let's back up to page 21. He's downstairs, but not gonna make it up. They must have a long meeting as well. Page 21. Let's try it anyway. If we have movement, we will move. If we can wait, I'm saying if we need to move. I like green in the bottom. It looks pretty fair. Maintenance and repair of service equipment would be the one item I'll go on and start with. I think we may have some questions. 336.
I was gonna ask about that very one, because didn't they just get new voting machines, what, last year?
It would appear they did last year 17,000 some change. I was gonna say, I saw Miss Amy digging. I'm betting she's found the why. Maintenance and repairs, software maintenance fee charged by a voting machine company, $15,000. That's those new machines. Ballot design service, May 2026 and August 2026 elections, 2,500 each, so $5,000. Voting machine programming and testing, $100 times 20 machines, $2,000. 2 elections, $4,000. Democrat machine tech, verifying setup, $50 per machine at 20 machines, $1,000 times 2 elections, $2,000. Are we getting close? Verifying setup. It didn't say doing the machine, it says verifying setup, $50 times 20. I'm just reading verbatim what was given. You made one statement, we bought new machines. And it appears these new machines come with new costs. And I don't disagree with you that is an extremely, I had my why there, you know, where are we at on this piece? Here's, I'll read it again, continue. Republican Machine Tech, verifying setup, $50. So it technically are $100 a machine per election.
But the bottom line is still green.
Bottom line is green. I might mention the bottom line is green, but there are no elections in this budget.
Right. Motion
So-
to approve.
Motion to approve. Any discussion? I'm sorry, I don't have a second. There, is that correct? 25, no elections? No election in 25? Yeah, there's no election in this. Yeah. Yep. It wouldn't be until the next, it would be none in this year. Y'all good? No elections in this budget. All right. Motion by Overman, second by Chris Gregory to approve as stated. Any discussion Ford? Mr. Ford? $18,000 reimbursement. Quarterly payments that come from the state for that position. Yeah. Everybody clear? Any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. It is, any opposed? It is favorable. Folks, thank you for pushing through tonight. I don't have anything else on the agenda. I like what you said. I hear a motion to adjourn. Consider yourself with a second adjourned. Let's have a great night. Thank you for letting us know that.